Hi, everybody. This is Lynn Serafin from TrentinoGenealogy.com, and I'm talking to you today on Saturday, the 30th of October, 2021. And usually I talk to you on Fridays because we've had our Philo Fridays, but I've had so many problems with the live streaming on Facebook. I decided to pre-record just a little thing. It's not really much of a podcast. It's more of an introduction to the article that I'm just getting ready to click publish on the website. I've been working on this article for the better part of a month, and I have no idea why I chose this subject. It was just something that interested me. The subject that I looked into was the Comini of Val di Sole, and the reason why is that, well, there were a couple of reasons why. One is that I noticed that it looked like some books I was looking at were confusing or mixing or blending or collapsing the Comini with another family, which called the Comina, in another part of Val di Sole. And in the article, I talk about why I think that happened, and also why I don't think they're the same families. And I show medieval history, possible medieval history of when the family came into Trentino, because a lot of historians think that they came originally from Lombardia. I discuss in the article why that may be so, but how we don't necessarily have the provable evidence to demonstrate it. I take you through the different lines, through the early records. I explain some of the difficulties that we have in research in this regard because the Comini, when they settled, mostly they were in a place called CASSANA, which is in the parish of San Giacomo. And San Giacomo, the early records for San Giacomo have been lost. And so I discuss in the article why and what's missing, what is available, how do we piece things together to try to construct at least some kind of history and get an idea of what's going on. So, all of this is in the article for you to review. I give lots of parish records, lots of citations of legal documents, lots of pictures of frescoes and things like that as well. Once I go through that, we talk about, or I talk about, a specific line, how I feel there are two different Comini lines that were in CASSANA, although these are also not discussed in many articles, and I don't know whether many historians have looked at it that way because they're not necessarily doing genealogical research. And I've looked at those, and I think that these are two separate lines who arrived in the village at different times. They may be related, but we don't have the evidence of seeing how they're related. But one of them is distinguished by a specific soprannome, which, if those of you who are familiar with genealogy or who are reading my articles, soprannome is a kind of a bolt-on that you put on after a surname or instead of a surname sometimes that distinguishes one line of a family from another. And they're very important when you have more than one line using the same surname in the same place. And so there's one specific soprannome, which is a Sera or de Sera, and it depends on which record. You'll see it written many different ways. This specific soprannome seems to distinguish one line from another, and I talk about how those evolved and how you can tell one from the other. Then I go further into the future, or well, into the past, but the future from there, uh, to a line from that de Sera family who were ennobled at the end of the 1700s. And this is a family known as the Comini de Sonnenberg, or sometimes von Sonnenberg. They actually had transferred to Austria at that time, so they were living in Innsbruck and places in that area. And there were a couple of very illustrious people from that. And some of you may know who those people are. I talk about how they got the noble title, what achievements they made. I show the stemma and give short biographies that I took from various books. Long list of resources in this website. There's like 66 footnotes in it as well. But a long list of resources for you to consult and look at if you read it. They're all in Italian, so you can read them later or try to get through them in Italian if you want. But I've made it easy for you because I've been translating and interpolating the information in the article. So then after that, I actually look slightly back in time and look at that family and look at some of the Sera relatives, because I found some really interesting things about a couple of priests who lived, one who was an artist, another who was a parroco for the parish of Tione down in Val Giudicari, which is very interesting because it's quite far away, and also a very mysterious murder that took place in 1799. Very creepy. So I think you'll find all of that interesting, and I hope you will anyway. Even if you don't have Comini in your family tree, it'll show you how you can piece together research when records are missing. And hopefully, it'll give you some ideas for your own research. And also, I think it's a very interesting family. And yeah, there's still a lot of unanswered questions in it. But it's still all part of the journey, isn't it? So for now, this is Lynn Serafin, and again, it is October the 30th. Happy Halloween weekend, and happy All Saints and All Souls Day coming up. And I'll see you very soon, and I hope you enjoy the article. Bye bye.